Why does every description of people of mixed race have to do with food?
I don't know. I think it's just something that people all like.
You're
everybody
right, because I love tacos,
everybody
bro.
likes food.
So that explains my friendship with you.
Welcome to episode 5 of Fantasy Friends.
Dum 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 dum. I am now ready.
Welcome to episode 5 of Fantasy Friends.
Like deja vu, you just said that.
Yes, I did.
We are now recording.
Are we recording?
Welcome, folks. I am Akimbo Burke, and this is my host of the most, Magellan.
Should I have said that with you, or should we just introduce me and I don't say anything?
I think that you need to figure this out before the next episode.
Okay. I think we'll do that. We'll figure it out.
So, Magellan, what have you been saving for the show, sir?
Man, there's so much I've been saving for the show. We should have a show that's called Save It for the Show. Okay, oh, yeah, that's right. We can't.
You're on the clock. You have all of 7 minutes. Go.
So what have I been saving for the show? Really?
I just asked you that. You're down to 6 minutes.
I've actually, man, honestly, I've been trying to plan this trip that we're trying to go to, trying to go down to Florida, and I know Wavo's eyes just lit up right now because he's stoked. I know he's
only in Florida. He's just like, somebody from Epic, please come down here and spend time with me. Help comb my all these gator nuggets. I don't know what to do.
Help comb my hair. Oh, he's got a mane.
That's a mane. That's not hair. That's a mane.
Oh, it's so sexy. But yeah, so I've been planning this trip, man, and I'm just trying to get a good deal. I'm really excited about it because we're going to see a couple of different parks. Last year, we actually went to Disney World for the first time ever, and I went. What was I before that? I was 28. 28 is the first time I've ever been to Disney World.
Whether you went last year or when you were 28, you're still a grown man in Disney World.
Yeah,
it's kind of creepy. Without kids, just put that out.
You're right. There, I had no kids.
Well, they're like, "Sir, ma'am, are you too lost?" Or were people like stopping and asking, "Hey, can you tell us where the bathrooms are?" Did they think you worked there?
Because they think we work there.
Yeah. Other than that was creepy.
I know the answer because I'm not not because I work here, because I'm an adult and I pay attention, but it's actually down there to the left.
You knew where it was. That's terrible.
But yeah, so, and we really liked it. We went to the Magic Kingdom, which they have a bunch of different parks in Disney World. And it was cool because we got to see, it was on Christmas. It was all the fireworks, and they had the park all set up, all Christmassy and everything, holiday. And we went to Universal Studios and we had a lot of fun there. And we just want to go back, man. We were trying to plan out what we wanted to do. And I just kind of said, "Hey, do you want to go back?" And she just kind of got super excited, because she's a huge fan. My wife's a huge fan of Harry Potter.
She's a big old kid like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So
you guys take turns, like you're the kid one day and then she's like the kid the next day?
No, we're both.
Who wears the mouse ears in the relationship? That's what I really want to know.
We both do. She actually wears the girly ones and I actually wear the manly ones.
What I'm hearing now is like no adult supervision and you guys got separated from your party.
Yeah.
This is what I'm really hearing.
Excuse me, sir? Yes, sir. No, I don't know where I'm at. But yeah, man, so I've just been planning that, and it's been a task. A lot of people are really Disney with the whole Star Wars thing is kind of really hyped it up to where it's drawing a lot of attention around the holidays, more than I think it usually does, which is a ton already.
But their Star Wars attractions aren't ready though, right?
No, but they do have some Star Wars stuff that they have Star Wars weekends certain parts of the year, and I think what they're doing is they're actually doing a prolonged, it's not a weekend, it stays here until the new stuff comes. So,
dude, could you imagine seeing the new movies at Disney World? You know what I mean? Are they going to do a premiere there?
I don't know. I heard that they might do
amazing.
something like that, but that would be awesome. Yeah, but it's just the task, man, of trying to find, because people try to bring you in and say, oh, well, we do $85 a night. All right, sweet. I get it. It is what it is. I get in there, and then all of a sudden that $85 turns to $250 a night because it's the week. Right. Yeah, because it's that week of Christmas.
Because it's Wednesday. It's the third Wednesday of a full moon, and Goofy's dancing at 3. We have to charge a double.
That's really what I've been doing, man. I mean, and it's not an exciting save it for the show, but it's one of those things where I just don't do like the, what is it, where you reel somebody in, the bait and switch. Don't bait and switch. If it's a price, if my dates are in there and the price should pop up on my dates, don't make me click on it and then the price doubles or triples because it's that weekend. Right. So that's one thing that I've been battling with, is trying to get a really good deal there. On top of, getting the tickets and everything. It's pricey, man, but
whatever you do, don't mention the price. Okay. We know that didn't go too well for you last time.
It did it right now. The look that I'm getting, not now, but as we're listening to the podcast later, look, I can tell you it's going on right now.
Yeah, it is. There's laser beams going through the side of your head right now.
And it's fun.
Do you feel the burn?
Because my wife loves the podcast. She loves the episode. But she sent me this text after she was done. And I thought it was criticizing the podcast, but it was criticizing what I was saying in the podcast.
Yeah, because it's a great show. And I know I do great. So it couldn't be criticism of me.
No, it wasn't.
It had to be you.
It was
did something
praise for you. And then there was another one that was a double the amount of criticism for me. So I'm basically dragging down the show. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I thank you for my tenure here, my 5 episodes.
Dad, checking out already, huh? Well, let's finish this one. What have I been saving for the show? Couple things, man. Nothing has been as raw and personal as it's been in the past. So today I had to get a couple of things done, just some everyday things. I was going to take a half day because today is my treatment for my Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
You guys have heard me mention this before. I have Crohn's disease, and so I go to the hospital every 7 weeks, sit down, and I get an infusion. And all it is they hook me up with a needle, pump medicine inside my body for 2 or 3 hours, and that lasts for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Then I go and do it all again, and it keeps my disease in check.
So Crohn's disease is where your body turns chrome, right? Like you're like a robot.
Oh, no, you're thinking of Colossal from X-Men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Crohn's. No. I thought you said
not Crohn's.
With the M. Okay, that's my bad.
No, I'm sitting on Crohn's.
My bad. I was about to say, dude, you're a superhero and you didn't tell me.
If I could turn into Colossus, it'd be great. Sorry, but I usually take a half a day off work. But today I had to take a whole day off work because if you guys remember, I told you when I got the couch, I broke the rear windshield of my truck. And so they came out Saturday. Safe Flight came out Saturday to fix it. It was snowing, so they couldn't do it. Then he came out to my job on Monday, and I couldn't get the truck open because it was too cold. The locks had frozen.
Oh, wow.
And I had felt bad. Both times I offered to them. I said, listen, it's snow out here. It's cold. Let me just bring the truck to your garage where you guys are working on the inside because I feel bad, But the dude, you know what he told me? And I instantly thought of you.
What's that?
Hey, man, I signed up for this job, I knew what I was getting into. Yeah. And then he pointed down to like his steel-toe shoes and like his thick winter gear he was wearing. Yeah. And I instantly said, Magellan. Like, this guy went and got a job thinking, hey, I really want to be an engineer and save the world, but for now I have to change windows in the middle of the window, right? And I was thinking, Magellan. But anyway, I got that done this morning, man. They fixed it. It took all of probably about an hour and a half, and then I went and got my truck tested. We have to do emissions tests here in Illinois. Now, you guys have to do that?
Yeah, but I think that goes with the inspection. Like we do it all at once. Like we
Okay.
do a state inspection every year, and
Oh,
then
what's that?
it's like they got to check your headlights, tail lights, the
Heck no.
tread
Heck
on your
no.
tire. Dude, they do
Get
it
out
all.
of here.
You can't have a certain tint. They test the tint on the windows, they test everything, and then
Wow.
they test emissions with that. So
Wow.
yeah, that's weird that you guys don't have that.
No. All we have to do is every 2 years, you take your truck to the vehicle emissions place. They hook it up to machine. They run it to see if now they run to see if your truck or your vehicle has any lights that's come on in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Lights that say something's wrong with your engine because they used to hook up a thing to your muffler and they'd see how much toxic waste you're putting into the air. If it was too much, you had to get that fixed or whatever. But now it's all because everything is done by computers in your car.
Yeah.
It's a really quick test. It takes all of 2 minutes to do, but I passed that test and then I had a little time between my infusion and I went and got it done, man. And that was really it. I haven't been doing much. Except for the conversation that I wouldn't let you have with me earlier.
About stuffing and dressing.
Yes. So we at work early this week. I walked into this conversation, and it seems like I have this conversation every year. What's stuffing? What's dressing? And which one is better?
Mm-hmm. Stuffing is better. Go ahead though. Go.
Okay. So what is stuffing? What is stuffing to you?
Stuffing. Okay. Stuffing to me is what you put inside the turkey. You stuff it, right? That's my common sense with it.
I mean, that's kind of a valid answer, but that's not what I'm looking for here.
What are you looking for? What it's made out of?
Yes. Tell me what is your stuffing made out of?
Well, see, I call it dressing.
Hey, can you see somebody hitting on the girl? Hey,
Hey,
what's your stuffing made out
girl,
of?
what's your stuffing made out of? Excuse me, my dressing.
My bad. You're dressing.
So my dressing it's like a cornbread based dressing, and it's got gizzards and it's got vegetables in it, and so it's really good. I mean, it's a kind of like almost not pudding, but it's kind of like a.
Ooh.
I don't know how to explain it, man. I don't know.
Pudding is such. Oh.
I know. It's
okay.
wrong.
All right, let me help you out because you're failing horribly here.
Okay.
All right. So the difference between.
And did you Google this?
No, this is life experience, sir.
Okay.
Because my wife, again, as sweet as she wants to be, we've had the stuffing dressing argument.
Yeah.
She doesn't like dressing. She doesn't care much for it.
Yeah.
But she loves stuffing. That's what she grew up on.
Okay.
That's what her people grew up on.
Okay.
My people grew up on dressing.
He's doing air quotes right now in case you guys can't see him.
They can't see me. It's a podcast. It's not videotaped.
Wow, the sarcasm.
But I always have this argument every year. Stuffing's better than dressing. Dressing's better than stuffing. The stuffing that most people talk about is stovetop stuffing, where all you do is add water, dude.
Okay.
The dressing that I'm talking about is you have to make toast.
Yeah.
Then you crumble that toast.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to take cornbread, like you said.
Yeah. Don't take my idea. Don't take my idea. That's my idea.
I'm telling you how my mama makes stuffing.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So now you got me confused. And you take it and you mix it all together with your seasoning, some sage.
Yeah.
Your peppers and your whatever you want to put up in it. Yeah, pow. And then you got it. That's it. Just add water stuff.
So it is dressing. So I do dressing then.
You do dressing.
Dressing is better than stuffing, hands down.
Yeah, well, like you said earlier.
Why would it be?
You consider yourself black, so I'm hoping you do dressing.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I don't consider.
I'm not gonna give you credit for that. It's because you get dressing. You get the label. No. I
mean, I love gizzards.
This is not a qualification. I know. To be part of the black community.
Oh man, but yeah. It makes sense now. I mean, common sense, but yeah, I get it. The stuffing is more of a instant mix type thing.
It ain't more of. That's what it is.
And then the dressing is a dressing.
It's dehydrated something that you add water to.
What is this, Fallout?
And you're done. Let me say, I ain't gonna knock y'all that much, but I'm really gonna knock you if all you're doing
like us
on
as a black
Thanksgiving.
people.
What'd you say?
Us like black people. You're not trying to knock
No,
us. You
no, I'm not
said
gonna
me.
knock.
You said me. You're saying us.
Listen, we gonna move on. If you're eating something on Thanksgiving that says just add water, I'm just saying.
You're not doing it right.
Thank you. That's
You're
not.
not doing
Be
it right.
thankful, but don't give me none of that.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Interesting topic that we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. This my jam. This is my jam.
You love it so much, dude. Oh, I know you're gonna love this.
All right. So if you listen to the last podcast, we kind of touched on a little bit of conspiracy theory, and so we decided to do an entire podcast about it. But this is going to be more of kind of a educational podcast on what conspiracy theories are, what they entail.
He thinks it is until I jump in there and I'm gonna be going buck wild.
As opposed to just taking, because we could take one of these conspiracy theories, man, and do a whole 5-week episode on who's the players that are involved and why and that. But we're not going to do that today.
No.
What I want to do today is just kind of brush the surface of some of the main headings or main conspiracy theories that we've heard about. And then some of the definitions involved in that whole genre. And so you can actually go back and look up some of these things on your own. And then
Facebook page as well. We got we dropped some stuff on the Facebook page. We as in you.
Yes, we as in me. Drop some stuff on our Facebook page, Fantasy Friends Podcast. You can check it out. It'll let you kind of read along as you hear the podcast and see some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So
let's take a break. I knew you were going to say it. That's why I went in there and I was like, plickety pow.
That's how we doing right before Thanksgiving. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
I just said that. Let's take a break.
I have a tree that's pre-lit that I don't use. Like, it's a pre-lit tree that was given to us. And then the pre-lit I don't like because when the lights go out, it's pre-lit. You can't fix it. It's impossible because it's part of the tree.
Yeah.
And then so I was like,
that's what you're gonna give me. Was that one the broken one?
Yeah, but it's a nice tree. It just doesn't. The lights don't work. You can.
What I'm gonna do with a tree with no lights?
Dude, go buy you some lights.
Why don't you just buy lights to keep the tree?
Because we bought another
You're
tree.
You're gonna give me a hand-me-down, broken light Christmas tree.
Dude, it's a nice.
This is why
tree.
we don't live close for this very reason. So you can't give me your hand-me-down, hand-me-down. We gotta start this because Chris is talking crazy, folks. Over the break, if you could hear him, we might not get through this episode. Challenging our friendship like that. All right. Let's get into this, man. Chris.
Yeah.
Tell me your definition of a conspiracy theory. What is it to you? Before I give them the technical terms, I want to hear what you think it is and see if you're close.
Okay.
Don't look at your computer. Why are you looking at your computer?
I'm not. I'm trying to think as far as... Is this like a test? Am I going to fail? What happens if I fail if I get it wrong?
Jesus, the answers are on Facebook. You know.
Oh, here, let me click on Facebook. to me, okay, conspiracy theory is something that is, I guess you would an event of some sort.
Okay.
An event of some sort that is maybe something. Okay, an event that happens that is either covered up by something. I don't know. So tell me what a conspiracy theory is.
Well, you were flaming out like Mayday. All right, man. Let me give you the Wikipedia definition.
Okay.
And we'll take the show from there. So it says it's a hypothesis that accuses two or more persons, a group or an organization, of having caused or covered up through secret planning or deliberate actions, an event or a situation which is typically taken to be illegal or harmful.
Okay.
Although the term conspiracy theory has acquired a derogatory meaning over time, it is often used to dismiss and ridicule beliefs and conspiracies. It has also continued to be used to refer to actual proven conspiracies, such as President Nixon and Watergate, and etc. So, but the one part of this that I want to pull out is, for my own purposes here. Don't laugh. Don't make me laugh. All right. So, conspiracy, just like I said, it's used now today. It's used today to dismiss things that don't look right. You know, when you see something, you're like, man, that's just not right. Something that don't sound right.
Yeah.
And so now people say, well, it's just a conspiracy theory. They say it to dismiss it because we've been programmed to, once we hear that term conspiracy theory, we dismiss it as, even if it's true, we don't even consider it to be true or even think about it no more. We dismiss it. So
yeah, and I was talking to, I was just testing that out, right? Because when we were talking about doing conspiracy theory, I said that one of the things that the phrase, the words conspiracy theory, have everyone programmed to this. Roll your eyes back, shut everything down, and walk away. And I tested this. And I was like, look, man, I want to tell you about a conspiracy theory. And sure enough, it was like shutdown mode. Everybody I talked to, it was just kind of like, boo.
But today I want to talk about that. Why is it that when you hear these words, conspiracy theory, you automatically shut down or you automatically give that kind of that one eye?
Yeah.
You know, I listen, but you got to say a lot or show me a lot to really convince me.
Yeah.
It's because you've been programmed to when you hear that word to do just that.
Yeah.
And the reason you've been programmed is because the people who are actually going out here and who are the perpetrators behind some of these major events in world history, they don't want you to dig any further than what they've reported to you on the news or in your newspaper.
Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. I'm going to stop right there. That's your conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah. No, but
what I'm saying is what you said is a conspiracy theory.
I'm agreeing with that. No, I get it. I agree with that. So let's jump into it.
But that's what most people say, right? That's what they say. Just what you said. You say that to a normal group of people. They're going to say, that's a conspiracy. Nobody programs us. We're not robots.
Right.
But go ahead.
Because the fear is, and I touched on this in the last show, is the fear is that you're not in control. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
That you're not in control, and that the knowledge that you have about an event is, what if it's not real? That's scary.
Yeah. The unknown.
You know what I mean? That what do you mean? What are you talking about? I saw it. You know?
No, you didn't see that.
I read about it. Nope. You know what I mean?
It's not true.
But it's not true. No, I saw it, and people automatically get defensive, and now they invoke that term. Well, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
You know, you're making that up. So, but let's test this out, right? There are some major events that have happened in this world, in U.S. history, but in the world, that have been dismissed with this phrase, right? So the first one, and probably one of the most popular conspiracy theories out there, is the Roswell UFO landing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but for people who don't know.
Okay. So in 1947, it was said that a UFO crash landed on this farm in Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay.
Immediately, the U.S. Air Force came out to the farm. They gathered up the UFO, gathered up all the pieces of the UFO, and then they said, no, this wasn't a UFO. This was a weather surveillance balloon.
Yeah, of course.
That's the story they ran with, right?
Yeah.
The problem is there were so many people involved, including the owner of the farm, that there were other stories that were coming out. And they were saying, hey, I saw, 3 or 4, I think it was 3 alien bodies.
Yeah.
Right? There were people who were saying, hey, the Air Force ordered caskets from us, right?
Yeah.
Baby, that fit, not human-sized caskets, but adult caskets, but child-sized caskets that were said to match the same size of these alien bodies, right?
Yeah.
And then there was people who worked on the investigation who said they found metal that had the properties unlike anything else that was found on the planet.
Yeah.
right? But what did the newspapers say? What did the media report? The media reported that it was just a weather balloon, and of course the military backed it up.
Yeah.
But for years, we've been taught to believe that there are no UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
But there's tons of evidence that says otherwise.
Yeah.
So, do you think this happened?
I think that it did happen.
Okay.
I think there is other life out there.
Okay.
I really do. I don't think. I think it's pretty selfish to think that just because we are who we are,
Okay.
that whatever you believe in, that my God could create as fantastic as a God he is, can create just this one planet with all these. I think that it expands a lot more than that, and that's just my opinion.
Let me back your opinion up with some facts. Now today
fact check. Oh, look at that! Look at your face, dude. You're
I'm gonna keep it simple. I said I won't get too deep into this stuff, but we do know that.
Let it go.
We do know that there's more than just one planet out there, right?
Yes,
that's a fact.
Yes.
Okay. Now we've landed rovers on the moon. We've landed rovers on Mars. We've sent satellites to Pluto, and I think Jupiter was the other one. We're starting to get to the point where we can examine some of this stuff a little bit closer, and now they're starting to say, hey, we found other planets. A lot of other planets, a cluster of planets that are just like Earth.
Yeah.
Right. So, do I think there's UFOs out there? Or aliens out there? Yes, I really do, and I think Roswell. When you study Roswell and you study what happened after Roswell, so you look at American history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just America. You look at the companies before Roswell and the companies after Roswell, and you see there was a huge jump in technology.
Yeah.
So what they did was they took this UFO and they back engineered it, and so that's where you see the leap. That's where you start seeing things like your cell phones, right?
Yeah.
That's where in your computer chips and things of that nature, where we see this technical advance in our knowledge.
Yeah.
And it all, if you do your history, it all stems back to this flying saucer that crashed on this farm in 1947.
Yeah.
Now, again, do the research, see what they say. This is probably the most examined conspiracy theory out there.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough evidence that you have to sit here and say something doesn't sound right.
Now, on the other side of that,
mm-hmm.
for where we're talking about conspiracy theory here.
Okay.
Now, are there people out there, and I'm trying to judge it from a closed mind. I'm an adult mindset.
Okay.
Is there people out there that want to blow this up to where maybe it was a weather balloon and maybe they just want to be famous and they want to get attention? Is that a possibility?
Without doubt. There have been tons of people who have cashed in on the UFO field. If you go to Roswell, New Mexico today, the entire city itself, it's not a huge city, is completely covered in UFO paraphernalia.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. You're gonna have people down there who believe, and other people who are just there to capitalize off of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not concerned about somebody making a dollar off something. You can monetize anything. I'm more concerned about, is our government telling us the truth?
Oh boy.
And
here we go.
And if not, why?
Yeah.
Now, we don't need to know everything. And I understand that. The thinking behind hiding some of this stuff is, there's a certain way and order to life in this country that if we gave or shared a certain piece of information,
it'll
be too much, and chaos will break out.
Yeah.
Economy will crash, the world will crash, blah, blah, blah. I think there's some truth behind that. I know there's some fear behind it, but I think there's also some truth behind it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I voted you into office, right?
Me?
The government
Me
is supposed. No, not you. No, I would never vote for you.
What?
No, not at all.
Wow.
You have dictator written all over you. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
That's a Wavo trait.
Nah. Nah, I'm the leader of Epic. You can't game without
When have
me.
I ever said?
Blah blah blah. I'm not paying full price for this hotel. Blah blah blah. Dictator.
So going back to before I threw everything off track. So you were saying, you as the people voted someone in office. Continue.
Yes. I was saying that the government are elected officials that are there for the will of the people. At least that's how our Constitution reads. Of course, I think it's the other way now. We might have an election and they're supposed to serve us, but the way it's set up now, the roles have been reversed. We serve them. They're the people in power. And that could be a conspiracy theory within itself.
Yeah. I honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, do not believe that voting means anything. I think it is a way to tell people, like you said,
Yes.
if people need to feel like they're in control.
There it is.
And if you are a government body and you say, "Hey, listen, dude, we know who's going to be in office already. We know who the puppet is. We know who we're going to put there. That we know the new face already. All right, so let's go ahead and cast this out like we do once every 4 years, and go ahead and give the people the idea that their vote counts,
participating,
that their ideas are being listened to, that that they have an opinion and that they have something they want to get done and see done, and let's let them have that. Let's let them think that they can vote and put their time and energy into this,
right?
Just to make them happy, to make that group happy. You know what I mean?
It is clearly the football mentality. They have taken politics and turned it into the Super Bowl in a sense that everybody picks a team, right? Because there's only really two teams that matter.
Yeah.
Republicans versus Democrats, right? Yeah. But anybody that's paying attention to politics and they are really digging into the background of the people that are running, you'll see that they're at the same parties when they're not on TV. They're kicking it at the same celebrations. They're at the same meetings. They're holding hands, kumbaya, when they're now out representing the red party or the blue party.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have to look at the money that goes behind politics, not just the money that candidates pay for ads, but the money that's made from the debates.
Yeah.
The money that's made from commercializing these things,
Like, do you think Donald Trump is really out there spending all his money without making that money back? Do you really think he would do that?
He's a businessman from day one.
Exactly.
Donald Trump has two, in my opinion. Again, these are just the opinion of the Fantasy Friend podcast.
Fantasy Friends.
Thank you. I think he has two goals he's trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One, I think he's trying to rally the Republicans again because they have not had a strong candidate in a few years.
Yeah.
All right. Two, he's a man who he doesn't have a need for anything, and he's not reliant upon anyone.
Yeah.
So he can go out and essentially say the things that his party is thinking.
Yeah.
Without worrying about the penalties.
No, there's no consequence to him.
There's no consequences to him because he's I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he doesn't need money.
Yeah.
Right. So he's not looking for anybody to write him a check, and he doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
Sure, they canceled his show, and they're not going to run his ads on certain stations. That it does not matter. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is set for life financially.
Yeah. And
that gives him a certain amount of power and allows him to push out his message.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the thing where you said about, does my vote count? Your vote counts, but not in the way that you think.
Yeah.
What they do with your vote now is they use it it's kind of, I want to say a thermometer, but that's not the word I want to use. They use it to measure and kind of quantify where the American public is mentally.
Yeah.
What are the issues that are important and what aren't?
Absolutely.
And then that's all they're using it for. But as far as you deciding,
it's a survey.
It's a barometer. That's the word I wanted to use.
Yeah, that's not the word. I said survey. No, I don't care what
survey is a better word. It essentially the elections are a survey.
I like using survey.
Okay, I just said that.
Okay, which one do you think's better, barometer or survey?
I think you're a dictator, and this is why I didn't vote for you.
So, but I agree with
Yeah,
that. It is not being used other than saying, hey, where do our people stand? Where do majority of our
right,
people stand right now? I agree
right.
with that.
Yeah, and so, but let's talk about when this started to take place, because there was a time in American history where your vote mattered.
Hmm.
All right, but somebody was killed and everything changed.
Yeah.
Who do you think that was?
Tupac.
And Biggie, right?
Yeah.
No, we'll talk about them later.
JFK.
Yes, the JFK assassination is probably the second biggest conspiracy, depending on what you care about, or the first biggest
Yeah.
conspiracy after the Roswell UFO landing, right? So, what happened with the JFK thing? Who killed him and why? So the story that we've all been told is
He just
that
did air quotes again.
I did do air quotes. Lee Harvey Oswald, right? He
Yeah.
was the
Son.
guy. He
Yeah.
he right, and before he got a chance to testify, good old Ruby killed him.
Yep.
Right, nice and neat, no questions asked. Here's our guy. We don't have to do an investigation. Nope, here it is.
Yeah.
But back then, they could get away with this stuff because they didn't have the technology and the 24-hour news cycle and all the
Yeah.
cameras that we have today. But we do use this technology today, and we go back and we can study the film. We can study the angle on which the bullet was shot, how
Hmm.
Kennedy's head moved, the sounds on the video. We now have people who gave deathbed confessions, and so when you start taking all these different pieces of evidence and putting them together, you start to get a different picture.
Yeah.
Okay, who really was Lee Harvey Oswald? Well, this guy he was an informant that worked for the CIA, the FBI. He was a Marine. He worked for several people. But at the end of the day, some people believe he was nothing more than a patsy.
Hmm.
In fact, JFK there were actually, I want to say, 4 shooters there that day that took a shot at JFK. All right.
Okay.
Four different assassins. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And correct me. I know some people out there. No, it was 5. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I know there was at least 4 shooters out there that were hired to kill him. Here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
Dallas was the third choice. Was the third choice to assassinate the president. Did you know that?
No, this is getting good.
Yeah, the first choice to
Go
do
Cowboys.
it was in Miami.
We just conspiracy theory. Dallas just beat Miami.
It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay. Sorry. I'm diving too deep. I'm making conspiracy theories up.
I think you are, and yours aren't that good.
So Miami was number
1.
Miami
was the first choice. He was supposed to do he was actually in Miami earlier that year, and he was at a stadium where he gave a speech, and they were going to do it there.
Yeah.
All right. They skipped Dallas. They were going to do it in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the last second, the Secret Service got wind of an assassination attempt, and so the people behind it decided, too risky, let's not do it.
Yeah.
All right. So then they rushed, they turned around, and they did it in Dallas. And of course, we know through history that they were successful in killing him in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's some things that people don't know about the JFK assassination, and this is where the conspiracy part comes in.
Okay.
All right. 4 assassins that were hired to kill JFK were the same 4 assassins that were originally hired to kill Fidel Castro in Cuba.
Okay.
All right. That was called off. And they was like, okay, well, we'll just kill JFK instead.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah, but why?
I caught you.
Huh?
See? Yeah.
Huh? Am I a listener right now? Am I even a part of this show?
Okay, so you have to go back and look at history and see what was going on at that time. What was the president involved in, and why would people be upset at this man enough to kill him?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing, of course, was the Vietnam War, right? We already knew JFK and Martin Luther King were both against the Vietnam War, and JFK was pulling people out. What you don't know is there was a lot of money set up in the Vietnam War, and it was a war that was supposed to go on at least 14 years minimum. 14 years minimum. And you had people who were involved in arms and the drugs that was coming out of Vietnam That was 14 years of money that they were going to make.
Yeah.
And JFK was like, I'm pulling us out of this war. So that was one.
Yeah.
Second thing was JFK was about to have inspections done in Israel for their nuclear weapons they were building.
Yeah.
And Israel was like, nah, we're not building nuclear weapons. And JFK was like, okay, then you don't mind having inspectors, right?
Yeah.
So they were saying, okay, he upset them. Gosh, there was another one that I am missing. There was something else he got involved in. Anyway, end of the day, what it came down to was he was upsetting people's pocketbooks with his policy.
Yes.
All right. And so the people that were being affected by this financially, they were like, this dude has to go.
Yeah. So so what you're telling me.
This is the theory that's out there if you do your research.
So what you're telling me is that when you mess with people's money, it upsets them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I would say that's pretty much fact.
That's a fact.
When you put your hands on someone else's money, they get upset.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying that all this money and everything that was set up, you had some do-gooder coming in trying to say, hey, common sense tells me we don't need to be here. Common sense tells me I need to do this.
Yes.
Common sense tells me that this is probably what anybody, normal human being in my position would do, and people didn't like it because they were messing with his money.
And he was an elected official. He wasn't handpicked.
Yes.
He was an elected official. So this was back when your vote really did count.
Yeah.
Okay? They loved JFK and they loved Robert Kennedy. They loved his brother.
Yeah,
they loved him.
They were sexy dudes.
But these two guys were here. They were, Marilyn Monroe. But he was challenging the status quo and they didn't like it. Now I'm going to dig a little deeper.
Okay.
Hang on. We're going further down the rabbit hole. All right.
Yeah.
The further you dig into this, you start to see some names that pop up and it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
All right. So before JFK's assassination, did you know there was an attempted coup against the United States government?
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah. There was going to be a military takeover of the White House.
Yes.
Okay. The gentleman who was helped funding this takeover was Prescott Bush.
Yeah. Do
you know who Prescott Bush is?
Bush.
Take a guess, being from Texas.
Bush. It sounds familiar in the
right?
Bush.
Yeah. Think about it.
George Bush Washington? No. It sounds familiar. I want to say he's associated with our former President Bush.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So when you start connecting the dots, so if you don't know who Prescott Bush is, he is the first President Bush that we had. He's the father of the first George Bush that we had for president. Mm-hmm. Prescott Bush was behind him and some other people. I'm just not going to just call him out.
Yeah.
Allegedly behind the takeover of the White House.
Okay.
And they hired one of the best generals at that time to lead it. But this general said, okay, he played along all the way to the end. And when the end came, he said, nah, I'm telling on everybody.
Yeah, I'm snitching.
You. He snitched on everybody, so they had to call it off.
Yeah.
All right. So they weren't able to do it then. Fast forward to JFK, he's elected, and this was another opportunity where they said, okay, we know we can't do it this way. We got to try something else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Bush and some other people, Lyndon B. Johnson allegedly, Richard Nixon allegedly, a couple other people that you know about when we start digging in, and they all had a hand in this, in his assassination because they were going to benefit financially. Yeah. Right? But let's stick with Prescott Bush, and let's move on to the next big conspiracy theory because it gets better. Now, some of the stuff I'm going to drop is facts.
Okay.
That you can go beyond the little Google search, but you can look in the history books and you can actually see that this stuff is really true.
Yeah. So, Prescott Bush.
Yeah. So Prescott Bush. Here's what's interesting about this guy.
It's funny because he's my Facebook friend. So
is it?
No, he's not.
You should probably unfriend him. Prescott Bush. He is the. We know who he is now, right?
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody knows Hitler, right?
So Prescott Bush is Adolf Hitler.
No. No. But he is a friend of Hitler's.
Yeah.
In fact, not only is he a friend of Hitler's, he is Hitler's major financial support during World War II.
Okay.
Yeah, he funded Hitler.
Conspiracy theory.
That's a fact.
Is that okay? I'm sorry.
This is a fact. This is a well-known fact when you do the history, which kind of brings me on because I know we're running out of time, and like I said, I wasn't going to get too deep into this stuff. But one of the other big conspiracy theories out there is when World War II supposedly ended, right? When the oh my God, help me out. Not just the Americans. What do they call them? The Alliance. What's the word I'm looking for here? Americans, friend. You know the word I'm talking about, right?
The Marvel Avengers.
Yeah. So when the Avengers got to Germany, and Hitler back was up against the wall, they said he committed suicide, right?
Yeah.
And they found his body and all of that, but when you start digging into history and start digging,
go ahead.
Yeah, you put pieces together, you start to see that Hitler didn't commit suicide. In fact, some believe that he escaped on a U-boat, and he lived out the rest of his life in Argentina.
Okay, why Argentina?
Good question. I like this guy.
Conspiracy theory.
Argentina
I'm
had
gonna burn that out, so I gotta stop.
Argentina had a pretty nice sized German population at the time, and they were somewhat sympathetic to the German cause.
Okay. So
Argentina served as kind of a base, second base, or a stopping point from there to Antarctica. So during World War II, people, if you paid attention to what the Germans were doing, they were going around the world looking for various historical artifacts, hoping that these things would give them power, something like the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Okay. But what they also found was they found land in Antarctica buried in the snow that was where you could live on.
Okay.
And essentially, it was said to be kind of an underground world with hot springs and a piece of earth that they can live in. And so they built a base there. And they said this is where he actually ended up, was in this underground base in Antarctica.
Okay.
Right? How do we know? What do you say? What do you have to back that up? Well, we know that after the war, after Germany, that America sent one of the largest fleet of ships actually to Antarctica. And when they got there, they were attacked.
Okay.
You know what they were attacked by?
By German soldiers.
Come on. Oh, Lord.
Okay, wait. Penguin. Hold on. Penguins?
Yes, penguins. No.
Penguins with lasers on their foreheads.
Close. They were actually attacked by UFOs, by flying saucers. So during World War II, Germany was very close to creating flying saucers. By the end of World War II, they had prototypes.
Okay.
And so when the U.S. Navy fleet that was ran by Admiral Byrd, B-Y-R-D, arrived there looking for Hitler, they got pushed back by these flying saucers.
Okay.
In fact, they got their butt kicked. One of the largest naval fleet, whatever you want to call them, I'm not in the military.
Yeah.
Got their butts kicked, and they ran back to America with their tails tucked because we had nothing that could deal with these UFOs.
Okay. Or
flying saucers at the time.
Let's not call them flying saucers because conspiracy theory comes in my head, and I'm going to sleep right now.
Do the research yourself, dig a little deeper, find out, what's out there, and you make the decision. I'm only sharing some of the information that I've heard, right?
Yeah.
But again, touching on Prescott Bush, it's a fact that Prescott Bush was one of the biggest financial backers of Hitler in his time.
Okay.
And from that, we went from Prescott Bush backing Hitler to him trying to, or participating, quote unquote, or allegedly participating in the funding of the assassination of JFK, right?
Okay.
To his son becoming the actual president
Here we go.
of the United States, to his grandson actually becoming the president of the United States. And we know how he got that presidency, right? Because he lost. He didn't have enough votes to win, but good old Florida,
yeah,
which was being governed by this time. Who was the governor in Florida when George Bush II was running?
Wavo.
No, he's not. No,
dude. I think of Florida. I think of two things:
Wavo was the haircut
and Gator Nuggets.
and Gator Nuggets. Yeah. No, Jeb Bush, the youngest Bush, was the governor at that time.
Yes.
And now you start to see a pattern building.
Here we
right?
go.
So we knew Bush lost the election.
Dirty Bush. That dirty Bush.
But Florida was up for grabs, and little brother said, "Here, you can have the votes."
Oh, look at that.
And so there you have it, right? So you start to see a pattern here.
Mm-hmm.
You start to see where the Bush family has been involved in the turn of history, right?
So that's so weird because you said, you're talking about our last President Bush here recent, and I can't I can't pinpoint anything that would be considered a conspiracy theory when he was in office. I just can't put my thumb on any particular thing. No,
I can think of one.
Okay.
I could think of one that probably everybody living today should know about.
Is it two? Is it two things? One scenario, two items, two structures?
I'm going to say 9/11.
9/11, 9/11.
9/11.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, though. So, the biggest conspiracy theory that is out there today, or as some of you guys,
I guess in our modern culture, and was
9/11. Right now, this is where it really gets interesting. Right, what's truth, what's not truth, what's fact, what's fiction.
Some people are gonna get their feelings hurt right now.
Oh, I'm gonna hurt some feelings right now.
Oh, I feel it, dude. Why did you stare at me like it was me?
Yeah, I'm gonna hurt some feelings right now. All right, you see my shoulders moving. That's I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I'm gonna hurt your feelings. All right. So, did the towers fall?
Yes.
Yes. Did the two towers in New York fall? Yes, they did.
Yes.
Did we see airplanes hit these towers? Yes. Yes, we did. People who were there saw planes hit.
Okay.
People who were at home watching on TV, they saw planes hit these towers.
Okay.
Right? So that's all fact. We're not going to deny those things happen. Right?
Yeah.
This is one where you have to go back and say why. Right? So what was the story we were given? We were told that several Arab dudes from out of Saudi Arabia, under the direction of bin Laden, decided that we're going to smash some planes into the towers and bring them down and make America pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
This is where you need to know your history and you need to do a little background digging. And when you do so, you'll find out that bin Laden and the Bush family had been best friends for the longest of time. Actually did oil business together for the longest of time before this happened. So why all of a sudden was this guy their enemy? All right, I'll let you go do the research yourself.
Okay.
To find out. 2, towers hit the buildings. I'm not going to deny that. But they also say a plane hit the Pentagon.
Okay.
And this is where the theory this is where 9/11 falls off the tracks. All right, 2 places. Building 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Building 7. The BBC News was already announcing the collapse of Building 7 before it happened.
Okay.
That right there is a red flag.
Yeah.
Building 7 has fallen, but Building 7 hadn't fallen yet.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we know that it was detonated.
Yeah.
And there's proof to show that it was detonated. They said planes hit the Pentagon. We all know the size of a 747 plane, right?
Huge,
right? But we know that the hole that was made in the Pentagon was about the size of an automobile at first.
Yeah.
Okay? So you had one where planes was bringing down towers, but then planes in another building was making a hole about the size of maybe a SUV or something like that.
Yeah.
That should be a red flag, right?
Yeah.
We also saw footage from a gas station camera across the street that actually showed the missile that was that was shot at the Pentagon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so another red flag. Also, what did the defense attorney or the Secretary of Defense say? I think a day or 2 days before, he said there's over $1 trillion something missing and that we cannot account for.
Yeah.
Guess where the records were being held?
Hmm.
At the Pentagon.
The Pentagon.
And it just happened to be in the same place where this missile hit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's
Is it too clean?
coincidence.
It's clean. No. No, it's terrorist. Right? It's terrorist. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not denying that these buildings were destroyed.
There's
Okay?
no denying that.
That's
There's no denying that there was damage done to the Pentagon.
okay. All right. But see, this is where, the rubber meets the road. So now you have in modern times, and we have film, right? And we have 24-hour news cycle, and you have very educated people. And they started looking at some of the stuff and saying, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Jet fuel can't burn the metal that these buildings are made of. Let's go out and actually do some tests and see if this is what is really happening. So they did that. They went out. They said they started running these tests to see if jet fuel could really burn a building, and lo and behold, it wouldn't work. So when you look at the towers and the way that they fell, and compare it to like a closed demolition, or you start to see some of the truths about what's really going on. That these buildings allegedly were demolished. The planes hit, but for the buildings to fall the way they did, they were demolished. And the other thing you have to look at is what happened after 9/11 here in the country. It was essentially what they said was, all right, terrorists hit us, bin Laden hit us, but now we're going to go and attack Saddam Hussein. Where's the logic behind that, right?
Yeah.
That's like being in a fight, right? And you get your butt beat up, you get your butt kicked by Al, but then you go and beat up John, who had nothing to do with the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they were looking for a way to actually get into another war.
Because it's all about the money, right?
Because it's all about the money. Because they knew they can get in there and they can control the Iraqi oil fields. You know what I mean? And so that's another cash flow for them.
Yeah.
And it's about power as well. So, but something else that happened out of 9/11 was we had the creation of the NSA, and then the Patriot Act, which eventually said we can put cameras wherever we wanted to. We could record all your voicemails, your emails, your text messages.
It basically, I mean, it basically 9/11 was a way to say, hey, listen, we're in an economic downfall. Like we're hurting.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
What do we need? Okay. I'm sitting down, I'm bringing everybody in a room and I'm saying, okay, what's our agenda? Okay, we have economy situation. All right, cool. What else do we got? Okay, we need to start, we want to monitor this. Okay, we got to do this. And then someone somewhere said, dude, why don't we do this? Why don't we plan an attack on ourselves? Why don't we make it seem like we're being attacked and provoked, and why don't we get into another war?
Because war means money. War stimulates your economy.
Somebody had to sit there and say that, right? Someone had to say, you have to have a group of people. Let's just think, people are people, right? No matter how powerful, how much money. Right. You had somebody in there who said, let's fake, or let's provoke ourselves. Let's make an entity out there, provoke us, and then let's start a war, and we can accomplish a lot of things. We can bring money in. We can make that money.
Yes, you can.
We can spy on our people now.
Our own people. Yes, we can.
We can do all these things, and all we got to do is we need a Pearl Harbor. And then someone stops.
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to say it because now the
Yeah.
human in him. And then
Yeah.
some other guy down on the table says,
Yeah.
"We gotta kill. We gotta murder people.
No, you know what? I don't even think they would probably use those terms. You know what they said? They said we need another Pearl Harbor.
We need to cause casualties. We need to get.
But why, Chris? But why?
Why? I mean, it's
What
Okay.
happened? Go ahead.
So you're walking down the street. A bunch of you and your you're all out trick or treating with your neighborhood. Okay.
Good kid. We'll
All
be
right.
good kid. Big Twixes.
Yeah. The one that brings the one neighbor who has like the full size Snicker bars.
Yes, those are the ones, baby.
What do they do for a living?
Right.
So you're going there, and then all of a sudden, some drunk idiot swerves in, and hits a kid.
Boom.
Okay, now what happens? You have all these people and all these emotions and everybody getting together and saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened." So then you have this neighborhood of people who are now, because they've seen it, because they witnessed it, it was so close to home, they have these people who are now going against drunk driving, who are starting campaigns against this, who are trying to do this with the city, trying to do this, and you have these passionate and emotional people doing this. Now, how do you get a mass amount of people, the whole country, how do you get them emotionally involved in what we want to do to say, hey, we're getting majority of the company's thumbs up, or the country's thumbs up on this.
That's right.
Where do we go? And what brings everybody together? Death does.
It does.
And
it
so
does.
somebody said, hey, somebody had to sit there and say, hey, listen, we're going to plan an attack. You know what that means? We got to go big. We got to make this stick. And it's kind of sickening to think about it. But, you know, I believe whatever it spun, however the stories came up, however it was pushed out there, I still thought to myself, common sense hit, and I was like, okay, if I was a building and I got hit by a plane, it wouldn't look like that. If I was a Pentagon, if I was in the Pentagon and I got hit by a plane, it wouldn't look like that. Like just the very common sense things that are there, that are out there, that what happened is that this emotion put the blinders on the country.
And not only did it put the blinders on the country, they knew that it would. Because here's where it gets interesting. So let's briefly look back at what happened during all the planning of the JFK assassination, right? Which was another emotional event for the country. The country stopped when he got killed.
Yeah.
Okay. But the original, again, like I said, the original plan was for them to go and kill Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
Okay. The original 9/11 plan of having planes smash into the building was actually going to be used in Cuba.
Yeah.
They were going to have planes hit in Cuba and use that to justify a war. So so all they did was take their plans once more that they had for Cuba and they use it against their own people.
It makes sense.
And so they knew, like you said, it was going to motivate the American people to rally up.
Yes.
Come together.
Dude, we just got attacked on our own land.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody got to pay.
Yeah.
Right?
All those lives.
And so they said, well, not only that, somebody has to pay. We know Saddam, who we had already been at war with earlier in Desert Storm 1, because he invaded Kuwait, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's already a bad guy.
He has weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah,
now,
he does.
Today, we can sit back and know that they never found any weapons of mass destruction, right? Yet, that's the lie that these people gave our Congress, gave the American people, but yet they haven't been punished for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, who's been punished for it? Well, we have, because we lost a lot of our freedoms and a lot of our rights out of fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And essentially, that's what 9/11 was about. You know, the big goal was to get more power, to take more power from the people by having you afraid of cars, like Chris said, jumping the curb and hitting kids.
Yeah, and that's what, and it's crazy because on a scale, if I was a robot and I had no emotion, and it was all about the money. This is perfect. This is
Yeah.
perfect. What are hundreds, thousands of lives whenever I can make quadrillions of dollars?
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I don't know them. I don't care. It's not mine because my family's at home in Connecticut somewhere. So
So 9/11 was huge because it empowered, we'll call these people, it empowered them to say, man, we got away with assassinating the president. We got away with attacking our own country and then attacking another country that wasn't involved. We can't be stopped.
you can't.
You know, at that point, if the American people is not going to stop you, and then the rest of the world is not going to stop you, who has the power to stop you? So let's look at some of the other things that have happened since 9/11, which is going to get me into our next topic as we get closer to the end of the show. And these are false flag events.
Okay.
And let me give you the definition of what a false flag event is. Historically, the term false flag has its origins in naval warfare, where it was a use of a flag other than a belligerent true battle flag, kind of as a ruse. So we would be Americans, but we would fly a Russian flag and go and hit China. So they would think that it was the Chinese, the Russians who did it or whatever, right? And so that term kind of applies today, where they set up people to attack, to cause something catastrophic to happen.
Yes.
And we're looking at these people when actually somebody else is behind it.
Yeah.
So some of the events that are allegedly false flag events since 9/11 was Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Okay. We never saw the bodies for Sandy Hook. And some people say, actually, if you look at the Super Bowl that year, the kids that was allegedly killed in Sandy Hook were actually singing in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
If you see that, in your face, you guys are hey, we killed a president and hit our own country. We do what we want now, and we're going to show you how much sheeple people you are, right?
Yeah.
The Boston Marathon was the next quote unquote false flag event.
Yep.
You dig into that a little bit. Did these two boys, who got into the shootout in the street and all that, were they involved? Yes. But you have to understand why they were involved and the people behind him. Yeah, these young boys allegedly, I say all this allegedly, but the theory is they really thought that they were going to help their cause, but they were really set up to be patsies by the FBI, allegedly.
Yeah.
All right. What's another one I'm missing? Oh gosh. Well, those are the two that jump out to me as far as nationwide, but some of the other stuff kind of moving away from politics. Who killed Tupac? Another conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
Some people think that Suge Knight was involved in it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was some type of sick sacrifice. Biggie, who killed Biggie?
Yeah. The alligators in the sewers in New York.
Alligator in the sewers, is that true? Here's another big one. Just kind of, you guys can kind of research on your own. The first moon landing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think.
Studio, what was it?
The first moon landing.
Come on.
A lot of people
Who's up there?
was,
who set up a camera up there? Come on.
Hey, that's what technology does. It exposed some of the quote unquote lies or alleged lies behind all this stuff. But what's the movie with Red Rum?
Dude.
Yeah, I'm running a blank. I apologize for it. I know you guys, the listeners, are probably screaming at us right now. But the guy who filmed that movie is the one they said he also filmed the fake moon landing, and actually in that movie he gives you clues throughout the entire movie that the moon landing was a ruse.
Wow.
So that's the conspiracy theory behind it. You guys can go and do the research yourself. So and just check out some of the stuff for your own, man. It's really interesting. I mean, a lot of it is theory because, again, until we can get some actual proof and somebody's convicted,
which no one ever will be.
No one would ever be. You can give that up. But to kind of wrap this stuff up, what I really wanted to do is get you to start to question everything. But
You
I
have
also
to.
wanted, yeah, I also wanted to get you out of your routine of. We grew up in a time where, like I said in the last show, the news came on at 10 o'clock, and that was really, your only source of what was happening in the world.
Yeah.
You trusted your newspapers, you trusted your television stations. Those were your two sources of information. But today we're in the information age, and you have the internet at your fingertips. Now, not everything you read and find on the internet is going to be true. I can guarantee you that. But you have so many more sources reporting
Mm-hmm.
that there's a higher probability of the truth being out there and exposed, as opposed to the 6 corporations today that control 90% of the media. Did you hear what I said?
Absolutely. You're right.
Six corporations.
Yeah.
6.
Is it 6?
It's 6.
Okay.
Okay,
want to be sure.
in the world, 6 corporations that control 90% of the media.
Perfect.
So I'm going to give them to you so you guys can recognize these.
It's
GE. Mm-hmm.
Walmart, McDonald's.
No, that's not right. You're not good at this. But that's the point of this show. We're going to get you better, get you where you need to be.
I got my tin hat, my tinfoil hat.
Hey, I have 2 of them. Yes, we can. But seriously, if you didn't know, there are 6 corporations that controls 90% of the main media that we get today in this country. So General Electrics, they own Comcast, NBC, Universal Pictures, and Focus Features. News Corp, they own Fox, Wall Street, and the New York Post. Disney, they own ABC.
Don't you talk about Disney.
NBC, Pixar, Miramax, Marvel Studios. Any of this stuff starting to sound familiar?
No.
Viacom owns MTV, Nick Jr., BET, CMT, and Paramount Pictures.
Huh.
All right. Warner Brothers. They own, or Time Warner, they own CNN, HBO, Time, and Warner Brothers.
Boom.
CBS, they own Showtime, the Smithsonian Channel, NFL.com, Jeopardy, and 60 Minutes. Now, you should have been able to recognize.
Jeopardy!
Yeah,
Alex
Jeopardy,
Trebek.
Alex Trebek. Yeah.
Alex Trebek is actually Hitler's son.
That's not true. It's not true one bit. But what is true is, after hearing these names and understanding who really is behind the media that we are fed every day, I want people to start questioning everything. I want you to start looking at different sources of information. I want you to start understanding that sometimes your government is lying to you. And they're going to lie to you out of the guise of protection, but it's really out of the guise of power.
Yes.
And as long as we allow them to continue to lie by going and accessing these sources of information and treating them as if it's law or if it's fact, then we have no one to blame but ourselves. Boom!
Conspiracy theory!
Boom, boom, boom!
What's that? Oh, there's a FBI agent Smith here.
Is this the guy that was in the Matrix?
He's saying we must shut down the podcast. Apparently I'm getting arrested right now.
Allegedly. We said allegedly. It's all a theory. It's all a theory.
I think the point has been made that open your mind and just use common sense. And if something's not right, don't call it a conspiracy theory and walk away, because that's what the trigger is. Conspiracy theory. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go back to watching Disney movies. So
or Marvel movies, right?
I think it was a great episode. I know it was a great episode. My father won't be disappointed. I think he's going to love the show. I think all of you guys, I'm sure all of you love the show. So where can they contact us and let us know if we did good, did bad, where...
Well, if the NSA allows us to post this episode, we'll be on Facebook, Family Friends Podcast. You can also
Family Friends Podcast?
Is that what I said?
Yes.
Fantasy
Friends
Podcast. I guarantee you won't find Chris in there singing. Fantasy Friend Podcast on Facebook. Then on Twitter, we're Fantasy Friends at FanFryPod. What else? You can email us, fantasyfriendpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
And then, of course...
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was saying, then, of course, you can hear the show on Stitcher, iTunes, Podomatic, and wherever else we can be found. You can just Google us, and we're there, man. We love to get some feedback.
We're so famous.
Talk to us. Oh, dude, after this episode, we're going to be real famous.
Oh, man.
Real famous. We ain't going to be able to walk down the street. Like, did that dude just take a picture of me?
Here come the Men in Black. Give them a little taste of what we're going to get into next week.
All right, so next week, if you guys have been paying attention to anything sports related, then you know that our man Cam Newton, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, he caught a lot of flack over this open letter that was written to him by a fan at one of the games. You know, she didn't like the way my man was out there shaking and moving and grooving because he scored a touchdown. So we're going to actually dig in a little bit deeper. We're going to start with Cam, but dig a little bit deeper and talk about unsportsmanlike conduct in sports. And what athletes and our expectation of athletes. You know, I think it's sometimes we hold them on a pedestal, but the reality is they're human just like us. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about that, you know. That's really it. Yeah, it's a good show.
Great
show.
Thanks
for listening.
We'll be back next week, next Thursday, which next Thursday is actually, no, we're releasing this on Thanksgiving. Huh. Well, enjoy that. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Listen to this instead of watching the games and spending time with your family. That's overrated.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I'm Magellan. This is my host / co-host with the most host, Kimbo Merck. And we will see you next week.
Allegedly. I said allegedly.